So, I beat the first Metal Gear Solid recently, and it's solid. Might be why they called it that. The game, waste no time tossing you into the shit. Names, code names, locations, abbreviations, and motivations all thrown at you before you even see the title screen. All of it might seem like nonsense on your first playthrough. It sure did to me, as I zoned out hard. It wasn't until I started up a second playthrough that I was like, ah yes, Decoy Octopus, Vulcan Raven, the remains of Big Boss. I know what the fuck is going on now. And surprisingly, I cared, because these dumbly named characters are characters in the polygonal flesh, fleshed out in long cutscenes and codec calls, the latter of which exists to help you progress the game. Tutorials and tips effectively shrouded as characters, keyword being effectively. Outside of explaining that they are tips/tutorials, I would prefer to refer to them as teammates. Each one has a specific expertise, but even so, calling any of them will result in conversation. A conversation that can either help you progress or serve to connect you to the character.
This is Nastasha Romanenko.
Nastasha is a sexy Russian weapons expert. She can give you the lowdown on any weapon you pick up. Seems like the type of girl that would quickly jerk you off while smoking a cigarette and not making eye contact, and then go and make a spaghetti dinner for 6 kids. Nothing in the game suggests this, it's just the vibe I get from her. Like, I'm just speculating here. I doubt it'd even be spaghetti. It'd probably be a more traditional Russian type dish. Like, bolognese? What is that even? One sec. What do Russians eat? Pickles. Mei Ling is this sweet little baby girl who saves your game and gives you sage advice with each save.
Don't die, Snake.
I started Metal Gear Solid 2 right after finishing this, and was audibly pissed when Otacon said this.
Sorry, but no Mei Ling this time.
It made it more apparent to me how much the cast of the first game stands out, and that these codec calls are more than tips. Pee-Pee Pants Otacon, Poo-Poo Pants Campbell, Meryl, Naomi, Master, and Teehee, Deep Throat.
Deep Throat.
These characters are my comrades, a team of elites, experts in their field, here to aid me in my mission. My very complex mission. It didn't start out that way, but quickly evolved into complexity as more and more freaks were introduced. A old man with a little gun, a big boy with a big gun, a psycho, a ninja, and a sniper wolf, named that because she's a sniper and has wolves. All relatively over-the-top characters that have a surprising amount of depth to them. Just like the mission itself, their complexity deepens with time. Sniper Wolf especially. Honestly, she fucked me up a little bit. When you finally defeat her, she lies bleeding out in the snow, lungs punctured, telling her life story. In the background, her wolves cry out for her. Then she hits you with this line.
I finally understand. I wasn't waiting to kill people. I was waiting for someone to kill me. A man like you. You're a hero. Please, set me free.
Then Snake shoots her in the face and throws a dirty handkerchief over her and says, I don't need it. I don't have any tears left to cry. Which is just so funny. It's melodramatic, but it's great. Regardless of that dumb shit he says, it's still an emotional scene. One that impacted not just me, but Snake himself. Before her death, Snake would talk as if killing was a sport. Then while Sniper Wolf is dying, she expresses the opposite opinion. And later on, it seems as though Snake has changed his mind and shares the same sentiment. Her death serves as a reminder of how precious life can be.
Do you think love can bloom, even on a battlefield?
It's a corny line, but one that resonates with the characters. A certain amount of respect each one has for one another by the end of every fight. A sport with dire consequences. Even with that respect, they know how it has to end. At the same time, you can unpack the conversation a different way, as Naomi follows up Snake's sports comment with,
Men in their games. You're like wild animals.
You're right. We are animals.
which could be read as Snake trying to hide the broken person he's become. When faced with a normal person's outlook, he has to retract how he feels just to save face. Or you could take it as Snake is just an airhead, a dog of war who does what he's told. A soldier who regurgitates what he hears like a parrot.
Second floor basement. Revolution.
Oh, my butt!
Psycho Mantis. Super baby method.
I don't care whether or not any of this was the intent. I just appreciate when I can leave a story with something to think about. Because finding meaning when there is none is fun.
Huh? What was that noise? Huh? Whose footprints are these?
Enemies will react to footprints, knocking sounds, and missiles flying directly at them. Ketchup can be used for ruse. What the hell? You can make a dog piss on a cardboard box so you can sneak past other dogs. Memory cards will be read, and minds will be blown. And also, minds will be blown. All kinds of situational mechanics used and discarded for the next idea or set piece. A series of gimmicks and stealth segments strung together with a movie's worth of cutscenes. That's what the first Metal Gear Solid is, and I wouldn't have it any other way. These gimmicks are attention to detail, fun, interactive ways to show how real this world is. One of my favorites being Snake's Ciggies. I was in a situation where I hadn't found thermal goggles, but I had to sneak past a series of lasers naked to the human eye. Checking my inventory, I noticed I had cigarettes, the description only stating that they're bad for my health, and when you smoke them, Snake's health bar will slowly drain over time. But if you smoke them near the lasers, they become visible. It's that sort of video game logic, where you test the boundaries of the game. You question, will this work? And when it does, it becomes even more satisfying. It's that level of detail, that level of creativity that really made me enjoy this game. Games do stuff like this all the time, but not so much in 1998, and definitely not to the extent Metal Gear Solid did. Most teams making games on the PS1 were probably new to 3D development, but were still familiar with what could and couldn't be done based on their previous experiences. Kojima, on the other hand, had no clue, even though he had worked on other games. In a 1997 Famitsu Weekly interview, Kojima talked about the limitations of the first two Metal Gears on the MSX, and how he had to scrap a lot of planned features. Because of those limitations, I had to cut more and more from the original planning document I had written. Each time I met with the programmers, it was, we can't do this, we can't do that. Abraham hit me with a wiffle ball bat. These limitations led to what must have been a 4-year-long case of the what could have beens. Unable to realize his full vision until more powerful hardware came along, which it eventually did with the PlayStation. Ooh, what a cool sound. With the power of the PlayStation, Kojima and team took ideas that weren't possible from the first two games, and even some straight-up segments that were featured in Metal Gear 2, and rolled them into Metal Gear Solid. Not a remake, but a perfected version. A series of ideas born from impossibility, held together by loose polygons. The more I read about the making of Metal Gear Solid, the more I keep thinking about this Orson Welles quote. It was ignorance. Sheer ignorance. There's no confidence to equal it. It's only when you know something about a profession that you're timid or careful. Creating without limitations can lead to innovations. Ignorance isn't the inability to see the world for what it is, but the ability to see the world for what it could be. I think this sums up Kojima in a lot of ways. A man pushed by ignorance. The kind that designs the levels with Legos because he doesn't know any other way. The kind who directs a video game like a movie in a, why not, you stupid bastard sort of way. Determined to get his ideas out even if he has to do them the hard way. By looking at games through a director's lens and pushing what can be done, he created one of the most influential video games ever made. In 1998, Metal Gear Solid was released, and over 20 years later, it's still solid. I see my tits!